So yes, we're gonna go into our title track, which is "Swim," which is produced by Tyler Spry and Lee Carr. Lyrics by James Eisen, Sean Foreman, Tyler Spry, Jameson Bacon. Okay, sorry. Ryan Tedder, RM, Kirsten, Alyssa Spencer, Derek Milano, and P Dog. And then the official music video actually features the actress Lily Reinhart. You've probably seen her in like the show
Riverdale.
Yes, Riverdale. I only watched the first season on that, and then I lost interest very quickly because they're starting to do some weird things on that show. But sure, and she's been in other stuff. But according to Genius, that I got the music video for the song set inside of a sailboat where the members are embarking on an inter-Atlantic journey, which the female lead are transported from the museum through the space and the time. The uneasiness of the temporal shift left her in a short but unforgettable memory of the history of the Korean diaspora in the earlier times, connected to the title of the album based on a Korean folk song. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw like the teaser for this music video, I was a little worried, especially with all that we went through with Howard. So I was like, please God, don't show them showing up to Howard and then we just get another like discussion. I don't need it. It didn't end up happening, which I'm very happy. But yes, from the studio notes live, kind of reiterated that they said in the dog about being hesitant on making this their comeback, especially with them being known for like their heavy, hard-hitting choreographed title tracks. And they mentioned like Idol and On. They weren't sure how it would be received after being gone for so long. I also love that everyone forgets about B and Life Goes On because that was another slow-tempoed song. But I guess because it was during the pandemic, that's why. I'm not really sure. Namjoon mentioned how he thought the song would be more relatable to people. He also mentioned that while preparing this album and being in the military, he kept counting down the day to D-Day and how it felt like he, was having to swim to keep moving forward. So it's kind of like taking on the phrase, like, keep swimming when the waves get big. That's how life is. And I also didn't watch his interview, but I kept coming across clips on it online and like TikTok. On the Elvis Duran show, Namjoon actually talked about how this song can be seen as a typical love song, especially with some of the lyrics, like I could spend a lifetime watching you. And then he revealed that there was actually a last-minute debate between two lines for the song. So for the hook, there was a choice of wonder where the waves are taking you instead of I can spend a lifetime watching you. But it seemed like more people liked the lifetime line, so that made it into the song. And like, so that's why he understands how it can be interpreted into a love song. But like in the studio notes, he talked about how his inspiration was being in the military. And he said the days, 550 days and counting.
Oh, that boy was cowboy. He was ready to get the fuck up out of there. I know that's right now, June.
Yes, and like get discharged when the time came. So, keep swimming until the day came to where he got released.
Oh, poor June.
I know. I'm so happy he's finally out.
We're so glad he's home, and he is too. So Swim, I think so once we started getting other music videos, because in my opinion, and this, again, I'm not knowledgeable in the sense of like, I know this is how this works. This is just my opinion. Just want to clarify. When we get these music videos, I feel like these were the options of what was considered to be a single. When we get music videos, I feel like those are what we have as far as like, these are the tracks that are I guess maybe unanimously or like, okay, these are like not the best tracks, but like the tracks that we can see having the most marketability, right? So when we're looking at Swim versus 2.0 versus Hooligan, I see why they went with Swim as a lead single, outside of the fact that it's English completely. So you have that, marketability there. But it's also, I think, very commercial. I don't think the other two songs have the same commercial ability as Swim does because, and I kind of talked, I didn't talk about this. I talked about this in one of the recordings we did that never is going to see the light of day. But
it's fine, Shay.
It's okay. When it comes to pop music, it is a universal genre. It is a genre that is, again, you'll hear it more often times than not in places that are kind of considered like safe spaces or like places that are very family friendly. I'll say that. Now, of course, I'm not talking about niche places. If you go to for instance, like a Mexican restaurant, you're probably going to hear more music that is directly from like Mexican culture. Same with again, any Asian diaspora, and anything that's specifically in niche, you'll probably hear in something that is specific and niche to whatever. But I'm talking about like Walmart, your Kroger, your mall. You'll hear pop music more times than not, because it's safe, because it is a more easy listening than some other genres. Like rock is very mostly political for the most part, or very anti-government. So we're not listening to that in the local, grocery store.
All right.
I mean, country's also, but I think that's American more than anything else. It's getting a little more mainstream because like we've seen like country kind of take more of a pop route. So we have pop country, or modern country. But for the most part, country is also like very, it's not fun. It's not fun music. It's not like country music doesn't make you want to buy shit. And that's another thing. Like a lot of pop music makes you want to buy shit, or it's in places where you typically will buy a lot of shit. And all of this is, I think, for a reason. There's reasons behind all that, just on like a level or whatever. But I think when it comes to pop music and that easier listening music and what's marketable and what is able to be accessible to a bigger, larger crowd, Swim makes the most sense. It is heavy on kind of that blend between pop and like, I would say R&B, but again, it's got more R&B elements, especially with like this new wave of R&B, like a trap R&B. So like, people like The Weeknd and like Chase Atlantic is another like influence in there. And Bryson Tiller obviously kind of cultivating like trap R&B. We're seeing a whole lot of that too. And I think it had the most, again, marketability when it comes to what would be pushed and what's going to be able to contend at the top of the charts with other songs like it. We're seeing kind of this shift, I think, in music right now where people are listening to more like sing-songy forward music. Like we're seeing like the Olivia Deans and the Rays, and they're kind of taking over the charts, which shout out to them. And like even with Bruno Mars's new project being very reminiscent of like the Silk Sonic kind of trajectory, very like 70s, 80s influenced or whatever. And so we're starting to see kind of like this resurgence of that more easy listening, not to say like things like Brat aren't popular, because they are clearly, but I mean, I think we're seeing a shift. And I think when it comes to trends, the people who are behind BTS, the brand, I believe, are on top of it and are watching these things. So Swim makes the most sense. The video, bunch of men that are ghost chasing a white woman on a boat. And I just feel like it's kind of, that's it. I mean, I'm sure and again, I hate to make it that sound, it's just out of the 3 videos, it is the most boring. It is. Like, I don't think anybody would disagree.
I haven't watched it since I first watched it when it came out. So I watched
the
dance videos more.
I will watch the dance video because I do like watching those. But the music video, I'm just like, you got a notable actress in there. Good on you. You're on a boat. Y'all look good.
They do.
I mean, I can't take it away. Y'all look amazing. I mean, it's very aesthetically pleasing to watch, but it is very boring. There's not. And again, going back into the conversation about like them having very choreographed like 4 tracks. There's a choreography in this, but it's not being showcased in the music video. So that's why a lot of people are going to the dance or the performance video, because we're seeing them move around and dancing to the music. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely, I think it makes sense why after it was all said and done, Swim was the title track, and I like it. I genuinely think that Swim's a good song.
It's grown on me.
Yeah, I think hearing our rap line take a backseat from the rap heavy stuff and be more sing-songy. Love when Yoongi does that sing-songy shit. Love when RM does. I mean, again, that's part of the reason why I loved RM's projects, like Indigo, so much. He was very much in his sing-songy bag in Indigo. And same with Yoongi through D-Day. D-Day, it was they had a lot of influence with the sing-songy stuff. J-Hope as well. Like, I love J-Hope's. They all 3 of them have very nice vocals. Are they like the best singers? Like, no, but they're not supposed to be. They're not singers. But they have very nice vocals. Like, I think they have very solid vocals, very distinct. vocals, that you recognize them. If you brought me a track and didn't tell me who was on it, I would recognize their vocals.
The only one who I can see doing like a more vocal thing if he really trained for it would be Hobie, in my opinion. I really like his tone when he's singing. So yeah. I could see him if he really wanted to, like, you know, train that up more to be like an actual singer.
Yeah, we got the kind of snippet of that, I think, with his solo releases through the tour.
Yeah.
With like Mona Lisa and Sweet Dreams. Both of them were very sing-songy, as like melodic, rappy, kind of melodic rap. And I like those. I think Mona Lisa was my favorite of the trio of that.
Oh, I mean, I was going all the way back to even projects on Hope World, like Daydream, because that's pretty singy to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like others. I'm sure like there was some on Hope on the Street as well, but that I can't think of at the top of my head.
Neuron, I think it was very it had more of a melodic. It's melodic more than it is. Like it doesn't give like Arson, which is very like rock or rap heavy, or very like grunge heavy. It has that. It's more melodic than it is like super rap or whatever, you know.
Yeah, like the song he did with JK on his Hope on the Street and the one he did with Eugen from Le Seraphim. I would consider those two. They're very more singy.
Yeah, a lot more melodic for sure. So we're on some. So yeah, I think Swim was. I do think now that we've had the whole album, I think in the beginning I was like, man, Body to Body should have been the choice. But knowing what the intention was with this album, now I'm like, you know what, Swim was probably the right choice.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
And at it from the perspective, yeah, if we're looking at the perspective of the 3 music videos we got, or if those were the choices of the title tracks, Swim was the right answer. Good song though. Oh, Tyler Spry. He's the one that worked on Bad Bunny's album, this last album.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where the producer you were talking about for Bad Bunny was going to come in.
Yeah, he was part of. I'm terrible with names, but the one that he just won the whole Grammy and did Super Bowl on. And I think when we saw his name, I think a lot of people who knew that he worked on Bad Bunny's album, that was also part of the expectation of them, quote unquote,
gotcha.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I could see that. And of course, I don't think that it had to be, but I think there was like this expectation that was set because of the fact that he worked on such a cultural significant album to Bad Bunny. And I think that we thought, and again, rightfully so, I don't have a problem with speculating and being wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so even I was like, we'll probably get something that's more, significant to them. But, Swim is significant to them, but not in the way that I think people thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to the next song, which actually is a girl for me as well, Merry Go Round. So the producers on that is Sam Home, Sarah Aarons, Kevin Parker. And for the lyrics, it is Sam Home, Sarah Aarons, Gregory All Day Hine, Kevin Parker, RM, Sugar, J-Hope, Derek Milano, and P-Dog. And I know in the studio notes, Namjoon mainly talking about how it looks like All Day and Sam, really helped shape his vision for this that he had. I'm sure it came, like, once again, from the military. He also mentioned, I think, in the Zane Lowe, if I remember correctly, again, I didn't take any notes, I'm trying to go off the top of my head, how he was a big fan. I remember he mentioned the name Kevin Parker and someone that was working for them. I don't know if it was Sam or someone else, was the reason that they got connected, because he was talking about how he's a big fan of him. And he's like, oh, like, I'm friends with him. And so he brought him on board to like share a couple songs to help them with.
Yeah, that's Tame Impala. This is and I love Impala, so I was super stoked when we knew Kevin was on the credits. And it definitely has a very Tame Impala-esque like vibe to it if you listen to that music. It is very psychedelic kind of in a way. Gives very much like a what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a like a trippy, slowed down vibe. I really like Merry Go Round. It's up there for me.
I think this song is deeper than normal because people always talk about normal. I'm like, I think that's merry-go-round.
You think it's deeper than normal?
I do. I think in the lyrics, it's more like, I don't want to say sad. What am I trying to think of? What is that word that Nafis always used to tell me? Is it melancholic? Is that the word I'm thinking of?
Melancholy?
I think so. I mean, just talking about like, you know, because, you know, we kind of envision merry-go-rounds as being like a fun thing that we do as children and like carnivals. When this part where it's kind of like being stuck in like a loop of like, you know, trying your best, but like not feeling like you're going anywhere. So you're stuck in that loop of continuing doing things. I'm reading this one lyric, like, though I feel like I've become an adult, the worries in me are the same, which very, you know, can relate to that. And then we also have like parts where Namjoon, if you're a fan, he's talked about like having insomnia since he was in the military, and he brings that up in this, is talking about like how his bed is his coffin. So it's just like, you know, one of those things. It's just very, yeah.
No,
I don't know how to explain it.
No, I think there's a lot of some symbolism to it. You know, if you think about, I think there's a lot of just like innuendos as well. When it comes to, like you said, just the references to kind of being stuck in a cycle.
Yeah.
And you know, I think they've always been pretty open, I think, with certain things in their life. We see it reflected a lot through their music and the choices that they make when it comes to what they talk about in their music. And I don't think this is the first time we've seen any of them kind of talk about feeling kind of stagnant, I guess. Yeah. I like Merry-Go-Round. I think it's a really good, it's another one of those like palette cleansers. It doesn't feel as heavy. It feels, again, with the sound itself, the production side of it, it feels very airy. It feels kind of almost like you're floating in water in a way, like just floating on top of some water. And again, with the addition of Kevin Parker adding that flair that Tame Impala is known for, his influence in that is, you know, you can definitely hear, even if I didn't know that he was involved, I would think that this was very inspired by like a Tame Impala. Yeah, when I first heard it, I was like, I knew I was gonna love it. I love that, like you said, melodic flow to it. And yeah, when it comes to the, I feel like this was one of the ones that we saw them working on in the documentary when he was sitting with, is it Kristen? She was in the documentary?
Still, that's normal.
That was normal?
That was normal.
Okay.
They're working on, yeah.
Okay, we're getting to that then. I swear it was this one. Maybe I was just, I was out of it.
I don't think they really talked about working on this one in the doc. There was a few they didn't, and I know this one wasn't. Like, this one wasn't really talked. Like Animals wasn't talked.
No.
I don't think They Don't Know About Us was talked, or One More Night, Please, or Into the Sun.
Oh.
You know, they really only focused on Normal, Swim.
The first half.
Yeah, and the first half, except for Fire. Talk about Body to Body a lot.
Yeah, that was kind of like one of the center focuses. No, I think as we move down through like more melodic parts of this album, I think we start to, obviously these are where we see a lot more attention to detail when it comes to lyrics, and again, like the symbolisms and the hidden meanings, or just like alternative meanings. Yeah, it is my train of thought getting to that point. Yeah, overall, I think it fit very well on the album. I'm glad they didn't cut it. I mean, I'm always curious about like what gets cut and what stays, and this one, I feel like it fits their vibe. It's also the other one that's fully in English, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this one has Korean in it as well.
What are the three?
The one that's fully in English is, again, Normal, that you're thinking of.
Normal, but there's another one that's fully in English too.
Is it One More Night? Hang on.
Might be.
Oh, Like Animals. Like Animals. I knew it was like another one in the second half.
That's all I got from Merry-Go-Round.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I can really break down into this as well, but just some of the lyrics, again, were just relatable, especially to, you know, I guess I can relate it to as like a working adult of just feeling like, especially if you're in a dead-end job that you feel like is going nowhere, how that can feel like being on an endless merry-go-round, especially like when the part they have here in the same daily life, like a carousel, like a hamster wheel, it's all the same. So, yeah.
Kind of sad.
That's what I'm saying. It's very sad. And then even towards the very end, where Namjoon asks, I think this is his part where he's like, round and round, are you happy? Please smile until the end. Like, just trying to make it through.
It feels very nihilist, like very, like it and it also kind of reminds me a little of Jimin's, the first song on Face.
Is it Alone? Because I like that song a lot.
Not that one.
Not Alone?
Starts off sounding kind of like a circus a little bit.
That's off of Muse.
No, it's not.
Off of Face.
That's no, it's Hear It.
Because I was like, Muse has another one that sounds circusy.
Because I remember him being in the studio and he was like, "Fuck you." That one.
Are you sure that's not Alone?
No, it's not Alone. Hold on, I'm about to go look it up right now. Clearly, I need to.
Face Off?
Yeah.
Oh.
It reminds me of Face Off a little bit.
I would think another one we're about to talk about reminds me more of Face Off and a mix of Face Off and some music elements from Muse.
Which one?
Yeah, I was going to say They Don't Know About Us reminds me more of like Jimin's solo work.
That makes sense because he's the one that I think was more involved with that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go on because I know we're both, I can feel it. We're almost there.
We're almost there. We go home stretch, girl. We got it.
Okay, so our next one is Normal, which I also think is another one a lot of people were fighting. Like maybe this should have been the title track. But produced by Ryan Tedder and Sean Cook. And then writing credits is Sean Foreman. Can't pronounce these names. Is it Lee Frank?
It's Libby.
Okay. Or Livy Frank, Ryan Tedder, Sean Cook, RMJ Hope Sugar, Kirsten Alyssa Spencer, Derek Milano, and P-Dog. In the studio notes live, they mentioned how like the original storyline for the lyrics talked about the lover and having an abnormal obsession with their partner, but they had to find a way to like change the lyrics to kind of relate to them as a group. And then Namjoon kind of had to ask them like their definition of normal, or like what do people find normal compared what BTS themselves find normal, which I think you can clearly say when you read the lyrics. And then I know like the kerosene dopamine part they talked about, or they brought it up when they were talking about like trying to make sure they got the English pronunciation correct on certain songs. So that was also this song. But yeah, just basically questioning things that they call normal or things that people might perceive normal for them, which isn't really normal.
I think for this one, it has definitely solidified itself as like my favorite on the second half.
It's a lot of people's favorites.
It is. I think it's just a very solid and well-written song. This is probably one of my favorite song as far as the songwriting part of it. Like again, we see, especially with like the rap lines parts, J-Hope talking essentially about like being happy all the time and how that's not like a sustainable way to be.
Right.
Which to like, I mean, I don't have this like, again, these unhealthy relationships or whatever with these guys, but it just obviously you can't be happy all the time. Like even if you are someone who has been put against the group as like this is a person who is the mood maker, it's just, I feel like each of them kind of combated something that is very true to what's happened to them over the last, like with J-Hope, it's like persona of him being happy all the time or being the happy pill of the group or being the mood maker of the group, and how that is not a sustainable, it's not really sustainable for anyone to be a constant like springboard when it comes to other people's happiness by way of their own. And the fact that, you know, I think we've seen a lot of him, kind of exploring these spaces for a while. I think of like Blue Side a little bit. One of my favorites by him. Yeah, I feel, and then of course it's just with the whole like Jack in the Box album with J-Hope, I feel like was kind of exploring those like darker concepts and darker like feelings. And this, in my opinion, was kind of like, this song kind of feels a little bit like we're settled with this. Like we are maybe not healed from it completely, but we are accepting of the things that now are just become a normal part of our lives. So I think that if I listen to it in that way, I feel like Hobie is okay. And again, I feel like we're getting a little more deep in this one, but I feel like with Hobie's lyrics, I feel like it's more or less like he's okay with sometimes just being sad, I guess. And yeah, like that. And like understanding, like he says, like some pain don't heal. I don't know, like, and again, I don't try to take everything super literally, but I feel like this particular stretch with these three, Hobie very much focused on his happiness. And then you have Yoongi who talks, it feels like it comes off about maybe dealing with his own anxieties. Kind of what I get from that. He says, I breathe everything out like 1,000 times. That feels very like panicky to me. And like, there's this conversation that goes around with these guys about like being special and being like a special case. And feeling like he says normal and special. They're just some lines. It's just lines. It's just words in a way. And then you have Namjoon, who I feel like this one kind of hit me the most. Namjoon's part was like, run away, pushing me, pulling me, says you want all of me, but what is even all of me? I think a lot about when he goes on live and he's like in a way like I think a lot about like I don't know if you remember like the Frank Ocean debacle.
Oh no, I remember.
Yeah, and for whatever reason that popped in my head when I heard him in his part, and it's just like I think, and I made a video about this a long time ago, just like his deconstruction of his relationship with himself as an idol, and I think this is also just kind of like feeding into that, and all of these things I think that they talk about, specifically the rap line in this song. I think why I love this song so much is because it feels like my mind. When I hear it, it's like they've accepted these things, and whether or not these things change immediately or it is a steady process for the rest of their lives, I feel like they've come to the point of just accepting these things. And that makes me very proud of them. And that's just the kind of way I see it and how I read into it with them specifically.
Yeah, and then like even within the chorus, you can tell it was kind of supposed to be for like the whole group because like the part where it's like show me hate, show me love, make me bulletproof as well. And then I kind of resonate the wish I had a minute just to turn me off. That's definitely a Namjoon thing, especially how we know how he gets into his head a lot. And I think that's also one of the parts in the documentary we saw with him talking to the other writer where she was telling him like it's okay to put all of this in. Yeah. So.
And I'm glad she affirmed him.
Yes, me too. I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times you'll find people who, especially people who like write their own shit, they get caught up in their own head and think that they're either oversharing or they're not conveying the message as well as they'd like to. And then of course you have the language barrier. Even though Namjoon is fluent, I think there's always going to be times where things don't translate well. From Korean to English. You know what I mean? They talk about that a little bit.
Of course, yeah.
And so I'm very glad that we saw that moment of them working together. And again, just affirming that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to put these things in there. And it's okay for you to write exactly how you feel. Because that's the only way that like those things will flow. If you can't just keep blocking, you can't keep holding on to it and blocking it from being released. So I enjoyed that a lot in the documentary. And it is my favorite on this back half, so it's a staple for me in my daily listening.
You and Gina as well, because she will talk about to death how much she loves the song, which I mean for good reasons too. But yes, let's go on to our next song, which is Like Animals. Definitely reminded me of my Supernatural watching days. I feel like if Supernatural TV shows were still very popular, this definitely would have been in one of those teen like drama supernatural shows, like a Teen Wolf or a Vampire Diaries. I could see it. Okay. But it's produced by Diplo, Artemis, Diamandis, Toby Dantry, Kevin White, and lyrics by Thomas Wesley Pence, Artemis, Diamandis, Toby Daintree, Jess Fink, Kevin White, RM, Kirsten Alyssa Spencer, and Bolnock. I don't really have any notes for the studio live. They didn't really talk about this song.
No.
They just talk about how it didn't really make it to the album almost, but they liked it because it gave like that rock band feeling, which they wanted to keep. This is one of the songs in the second half, which was on my lower end for me, if I'm gonna be honest, which you would think I would like it more because I was into shows like Teen Wolf and all that back then. But it's grown on me a little bit. I appreciate the song mainly for like, I think it was the later half where like Tae, Jungkook, and Jin are like doing that harmonizing. I do feel like this highlights Jin's higher vocal tone a lot more, which I enjoy. So that's why I listen to the song and like it in those senses. But it's there for me, but I'll still listen to it.
I think it's, once again, I think when I remember seeing what is his name, Artemis, on TikTok, just talk about, just allude to the fact that he was in the same space and was able to write for them, which I think is amazing. I think anytime someone that's lesser known gets an opportunity like that, it's an amazing feat. I love seeing smaller artists be able to, connect with, and I think it was because one of them was RM, or I think it was RM that shared a song. I don't remember. I'd have to go look at the ever-growing list of Namjoon recommendations.
I'm sure it was probably him more than likely.
It was probably Namjoon, honestly, because he's always given us, they all are in their own way, but he's definitely like the most consistent recommendation giver. But yeah, something as simple as that of just like, oh, I like your song. I'd like to work with you. That's like a dream for some people. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And with the song itself, I think it's giving. It's not like a lot of people will be like, oh, it's just like. Well, I don't think everybody thinks like this. I think there's obviously a select few people who think that the song is very sensual, has a very sexual like undertone to it. Which, I mean, you can make anything like that. I guess you could literally make some the stupidest shit very sexual. But
Facts.
I don't think let me just say this clearly. I didn't get anything sexual of any song on this album, but I do think it has that very the sensuality that comes with like a rock song, especially like a slower rock song. Thinking of people like what is their name? I just listened to them earlier. Hold on a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna go look it up. Oh my god! Like I'm really ill prepared right now. And as soon as I see it, I'm gonna be pissed because I know I'm about to type in the song right now. Kings of Leon. Why the fuck could I not think of their name? I think of Kings of Leon. Kings of Leon and people like Hoiser and like just people who like explore, even if they're talking about deeper songs, sometimes their songs are just immediately like connected with like sexy feeling. And I feel like this kind of does a similar thing. I don't think the lyrics themselves are inherently sexual. I think the vibe of the song gives very sensual. So I like it though. It was an automatic like yes for me. I think I'm a sucker for a good guitar solo, so that really got me more than anything. And I enjoyed their performance of it on the Netflix special. I didn't think they were going to do it because it is, a slower song and with that, but I think it fits. It definitely. I think the more that you sit with this album, most of these songs, granted, this is all we have to compare to, the songs definitely fit. It is what's the word I'm looking for? This track listing and the way that it flows, it works. And so I think this is a good kind of ending of that 3 or 4 song trend of it being kind of the slowing of it down, and because we get back into a little bit more pop heavy on the latter half of the second half. I did enjoy like Animals, and I do hope that maybe Yoongi does a guitar solo. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like as much as they gave him shit for what did Namjoon say? Yoongi be on the guitar like 10 hours a day. Well, show me. I want to see it.
Yeah, I was surprised about that, but should I be really not?
No,
I shouldn't.
He's a fucking Pisces man.
I don't know much about astrology. Okay, all I know is I'm a Taurus, and that's it. I don't know much.
Okay, that's all you need to know.
Okay, but yes, hopefully, maybe in like the finale or something, you can bring out that guitar and show us what you got on this song. Okay, so we're going to move on to my favorite song of the second half, which is They Don't Know About Us. And again, say thank you to Park Jimin, who apparently had a really big hand in making this song. Producers on this is P-Dog, Ghost Loop, and Y2K, with lyrics by P-Dog, Ghost Loop, Ari Staris, Rug, Curtis Wells, RM, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, and yes. And like I stated, they were really praising Jimin during the studio notes for this. It was interesting too because he said he was struggling at first because this is the thing about Weverse translation sometimes. They be messing up. So I don't really know what he was trying to say. It was something along the lines of like, the translations were giving me something like the intention for the song was you make me weak, and he was thinking about the fans and army in that sense. So I'm not really sure what he meant by that. And then it turned into like, I guess the original tension as well. So I don't know if that meant like the original intention was fans make them weak because they don't know about them or like put on, these type of what they perceive for them, which isn't true. But yeah, that's something I found interesting. Him and Namjoon kept repeating like the original tension of trying to make this was like feeling weak and pathetic in a way.
Was that from the artist notes or the studio notes or just throughout the...
Yeah. No, that was from the studio note live that they kept talking about. The original thought for the song was fans making them feel weak, which I don't really know how to interpret that, like, because I don't want it to come off negative if that's not what it meant due to translations. But that's what they were saying, because even Namjoon in English, I heard him say like weak and pathetic, so I'm not really sure.
Interesting. And which I feel like it's funny because one of the highlights of this song is J-Hope's verse, where he talks about the thing that's like a triple entendre. It's he says, "You say we change, we say." I mentioned this in Discord, but I'll say it here. There's 3 versions of that I feel, and if that's what, because I'll be honest, I have not watched the studio notes. I just haven't gotten around to it. But the fact that if that's the translation for like the fans make them weak, I think that can also like kind of tie into what J-Hope was talking about. Because I feel like we're going to go on a tangent here. Try not to, because again, it's getting to that point. But I think the Army has done a lot for BTS. I'm not going to sit here and take away from it. The fandom has definitely helped them in many ways, getting them where they're at. But I think that fandom has also hindered them in a way. I think when you have a fan base that is as large as Army, and you are a artist who is very much in tune with not only yourself, but kind of like global opinion of you or the global opinion of your group, hard to not look into those things when people talk about you or blogs have something to say. And, it's just like, it's hard to turn off the noise. At the same time, I think it gets to a point, I think, with the fandoms, or the fandom and this group, that much like how this album was received, it can definitely play a part in what they're willing to try, and what they're willing to attempt, for either fear or just like doubt for themselves, for the sound or the intention to go across the right way. And that, if that is the right, and again, I don't know what the exact translation turns out to be, but just hearing it just verbatim, I can agree. Like, I can agree with that sentiment and how that ties, I think, into what J-Hope was talking about. It's like, you say we've changed, we feel the same. So like, you, the public, say that we, BTS, or, me as an artist, have changed, but we feel the same. We've not changed at all. So that's one meaning, in my opinion, about that. The second meaning is, you say we've changed, we feel the same, as in, you say we've changed and we agree with you, we have changed. And then the third one is, you say we've changed, we feel the same, as in, we feel the same way you feel. Like, you feel that we've changed, we feel that you changed. So I feel like these are 3 different things that can also tie into how these, with the whole, like, the fans make them weak, if that is what ties into it, which is kind of, it's a sucky position to be in, I think, because you want to obviously like make music that your fans enjoy, right? That's the whole point. The whole point of making music, part of the reason, is to make music that you want to listen to, people really want to participate with. But there's a part of that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a part of doing what your fans want to do that limits your creativity in a way. Because if all they want to hear is the, butter, dynamite, permission to dance type shit, and you want to make, like just using Namjoon, like the Monos and the Jack in the Boxes and the D-Days and the Faces and, the Sevens and the Happy and the, what is Tay's album called? Layover. I had to think about it. Yeah, it was coming out. I have them all and they're in that box. When you want to do something that's different from what I guess people kind of pigeon, again, going back to the conversation I had earlier about Black talking about being pigeonholed, that is a weakening of sorts, having to do music that people enjoy, people that, maybe don't know your story, that don't know your struggle, and not that you have to be tied to that struggle, but you're telling a story as you go. And if all your fans, if all the global majority wants to hear is the shit that makes them feel good, you kind of are like crippled a bit, I think, when it comes to what you're willing to try or even feel confident enough to try. Like, I can't imagine what it would look like if they felt that way and then we weren't able to get some of the music we've gotten from them over the years with like the solo projects and stuff. Imagine feeling that like limited in a way that you don't even care to try. I mean, it took JK forever to make, Golden, mostly because he wanted to write.
I was going to say, he didn't even want to make in the first place.
Yeah, mostly because he wanted to write, which, rightfully so. But, like, it's just one of those things. It's just like, yeah, I mean, there's room, there's space to make the songs that make people feel good. But, like, that's not what BTS started off as. And, again, it's going back to this conversation of, like, going back to their quote-unquote roots. Like, in a way, they've never really left that. They've never really left speaking about the things that trouble them and plague them and the issues that they deal with. I mean, we've seen it throughout the solo projects as well. That's part of their identity. And yeah, I think I don't know what the translation is as far as like if that's correct, but it does sound on par. Like it really much does. If that's what it is, it sounds pretty much on par.
Yeah, and I mean, you can tell too, like they're also talking about things that people on the outside of the fandom have said about them. Like we have the first of the lyrics, like what was so different about you? They keep asking, and I tell them I don't know. And like with the quotes, like this is how they made it. I'm right, and them reiterating, which Namjoon says a lot, how they're just like 7 Korean like country boys in a sense, and that said us too, where JK sings the part like we're just big boys, aka country boys. Yoongi also kills me in his part. I didn't realize he said this. It's in Korean, but the translation is basically like with your nosiness as big as the Pacific Ocean, which damn bro. I mean, it's just such a line. Your nosiness is as big as the Pacific Ocean. Isn't that like the biggest ocean we have?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so just great song by Park Jimin that I very, very much enjoy. And then we're going to go on. Don't worry, guys. We have 3 more songs left. If you're still with us, thanks for sticking with us.
Right.
We have One More Night. Listen, do I need to break the fourth wall or just keep going?
You just do whatever you feel is necessary.
It's so late for both of us, but we're just going to keep going.
Right.
I don't know if you can tell the changes in my voice because it's hurting from talking so much.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, One More Night. Produced by Diplo, P-Dog, and Nitty. Lyrics by Thomas Welsh, Pence, P-Dog, Bo Knox, Richard Cook, Mears IV, RM, Suga, J-Hope, and Ant Clement?
Clemens.
I didn't write that correctly. That was my spell check. Yes. Jungkook in the studio notes live compared the song to older BTS songs. He actually used Home as an example, which I thought was very interesting, stating how this was a nice, easy listening to song, and especially since they had previous heavy songs that were played before in the album. I'm sure they were talking about Like Animals and Like Normal and Merry Go Round, so this was supposed to kind of bring the mood back up. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, didn't seem like Namjoon really liked this song at first. I don't know if it grew on him or not, but that's the vibe I was catching. I think he said it too. I might have missed it. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy the song. This is definitely a song I feel like you can listen to like driving at night.
Yeah, it definitely gives like a Europop feel. I enjoy, again, yes. I like the differences as far as just like the different genre and music types that we've gotten from this album. It definitely was one of those songs that took me a while to get into after, my first couple of listens. I think it's a good general song. The melody at the end has been driving me crazy, because I know I've heard that melody before, that very last part. Cannot for the life of me figure out, and I'm still to this day trying to figure it out. So if anybody in the comment section knows where that melody's from, please put it in the comment section. Or, yeah, because I need to know. But anyway, I like it, though. I mean, again, we're getting some very light vocals from the rap line, as far as just like them kind of dipping into more vocal melodic tones. But it kind of fits right up the rest of their alley. Like, the vocal line this is kind of like their bag, I think. So I liked it, though. I thought it was a nice little palate cleanser from some of the more serious conversations or serious subject matter in the other song.
Yeah. You can tell it's supposed to be lighthearted. I guess if Jungkook wants to compare it to Home, because I thought we said Home was kind of like an army song. I can see that too. This is where I feel like the next two gets, in my eyes, gets a little bit more, I guess, sensual in a way. Like, and it doesn't have to mean, like, sensual doesn't have to be like sexual, but just like, just wanting to hang out with someone, or also like getting lost in the fantasy, which they talk about in the lyrics. But they also say, you're my fantasy, but that could also just mean like fantasy of just, being together for a night, no matter what that means. Doesn't have to be sexually, but just like, hanging out as well, going into the dreamscape of just like not wanting to face reality.
Right.
Also, I guess I didn't realize there was a part in this lyric where it says, Celine, you who are like Celine, which apparently is the goddess / personification of the moon in Greek mythology, which is showing Namjoon's, big brain and his very love of Greek mythology.
He's a nerd.
I love my nerd.
Yes, we do. We do love his big brain, his big sexy brain.
We do.
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of this album has like Greek mythology written all over it. Few of the tracks are very reminiscent of like the Odyssey, I think, with the swim callbacks or whatever. And sorry, I think my brain was again. It's getting to that point. We're almost done. This was good. But yeah, no, I can. I think there was in the beginning of all like this promotions and stuff, there were like some similarities to some Greek mythology stuff. So it makes sense that they would continue that track, and they're very obsessed with space, I think, too. We have like Microcosmos, which is very much a spacey song, but it's also an army song. Kind of reminds me a little, not in theme or like in sound, but that's kind of it bringing that into it.
We also have Pluto from Love Yourself Tia.
Do we have it?
134340. Listen,
Yeah.
Didn't NASA put it on their playlist like a few years ago?
Years ago? I don't know. No, this recent one, no, they didn't make Microcosmos.
No, yeah, this is a new list, but I think the old list, they did add it.
I don't remember.
And we have Moon by Jin.
Again, yeah.
And he made Wuto, who's a space alien.
Oh, yeah, I guess he's an alien.
He is an alien, yeah. So space.
Space. I mean, again, I can definitely see some of them, nerding out over what's going on currently with the, what is it, Artemis? The moon landing thing. Yeah, I'm sure they're watching.
Are they still in space? Are they still circling the moon?
I'm not a nerd. I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Oh my God. I didn't watch it either because, in Florida, we have the space station here. So, like, the launch. So, like, I know one time my dad came home, he running into the house. He's like, this launch is going off. And I just continued to watch TV on the couch because I do not care. I'm not going to get up. Oh, no, he called me, actually. No, he didn't come into the house. He called me because he pulled up to the apartment. He's like, hey, the space launch is about to go off. Then he hung up. And I was like, okay.
Well, thanks for telling me. Now I know.
Thank you. But yes, I didn't really have much to say about One More Night. There's not really like lyrics to delve into. But again, that's fine because you always don't need serious lyrics, people. But yes.
I think that it's funny about you saying that, just real quick. What's funny about you saying that it took a while for Namjoon to grow on him, it kind of gives... like it should have been on Indigo.
This song?
Yeah, I feel like it has like that vibe of not Hectic. What is the song he did or Hectic?
I see this on Golden, not Indigo. I can see this like the song he did with DJ Snake. Didn't he do one also called Closer or Closer to You? I can see that coming after this.
I see it with what is the song? It's not Hectic. It's what came before Hectic. I got the track list in my head.
Do you need me to research it? Yeah, it doesn't seem like Namjoon. I mean, again, I don't know if it changed, but he did express this is one of the songs he didn't really care for.
I believe it.
So I'm surprised to hear you say you could have heard this on Indigo.
Lonely? Yeah, it was like there's a song that no.
Closer? With Paul Blanc. Okay, well, there's also Change Part 2. Wildflower. Forgetfulness or Forgetful. I don't think it's Indigo you're thinking about because there's only either All Day with Tableau, Still Life, or Yoon.
All Day. There it is. Yeah, All Day.
Really?
That was the song. I knew it was coming. I was like, there's got to be another one.
I don't see it.
Yeah, go listen to All Day. It's not like verbatim, but like I feel like they are kind of similar.
I could have seen this song on Golden by JK as like if it was one of his singles.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty much One More Night. So we're going to get into second to last, which is Please. I think for me personally, this is the most central song that they have. So it's produced by Tyler Spray. Okay. With lyrics by Tyler Spry, James Essen, Ryan Tedder, RM, Suga, J-Hope. And then they stated, I guess this is supposed to be the fan song, so this song is dedicated to ARMY. As they always like to say, there's got to be one song in there. And again, they didn't really talk about this song because they ended up going into a debate if people would like the first half of the album more than the second half and vice versa. So they kind of just mentioned this was the song for ARMY, and then also their ADHD brains kicked in. They talked about something completely different. Not the song at all.
Makes sense. Have you seen, hate to like bring up the meme, but the meme of what the song sounds like?
What it sounds like? No.
So have you ever seen the episode of SpongeBob where where it's Pearl's birthday? Oh my God, hold on. I need you to hear it. Oh my God.
Is this a newer episode?
Newer, yeah, I guess.
Because I almost thought you were going to say striped sweater.
No.
Best time to wear a striped sweater.
No, it's Boys Who Cry.
It's all the time. Oh, that little like fish boy group.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the song, but I visually remember that now. Because she was obsessed with them.
Did you hear it?
I didn't.
Okay, it comes on. I'm sure it's on my side of the recording.
Okay, well, if it's on your side, then it's fine. But no, I haven't seen that meme. I'll have to look that up later.
When you look at it, you're going to hear it. It's going to be so loud. I didn't mean for it to be that loud, so just be prepared to hear blasting through the speaker. Anyway, it's very reminiscent of that song. And so, but no, I tend to, this one I felt like I get why people thought it was very sensual, sexual, whatever, because of like the language around it.
Mm-hmm.
For them to be like, oh, this is ARMY song. I'm just like, okay. Like, yeah, sure. I don't know who's more delusional, us or them.
I think it's an equal playing field at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they got us beat.
JK got us beat. I don't know about well, Namjoon's starting to creep up there.
Yeah. No, I think this is a very solid kind of rounding down. Because we're getting the second before last song, and again, this song really does kind of move and wave, where we have the very first like very high intensity, the bell hits, and then we kind of dip really like at a slower pace, but then we kind of come back up with One More Night, and Please is kind of, I think, a good balance song when it comes to like tempo and stuff. I'm surprised that this song didn't get more push for like a, not like a music video or nothing, but I'm surprised that like we didn't get this like at the Netflix special.
I was surprised about that too, and it seems like to be a fan favorite. A lot of people really like Please.
Again, not one of my favorites, but I think it's a good. Again, I don't think any of these songs are bad. Let me just put that out there. I think all of these songs sonically are really good. Even the one we're going to talk about in a second that seems everyone hates. I think. But anyway, just rounding my opinion on Please. I mean, I do think it's a little more mature. It has more mature theming, which is, get why people think it's, again, more sexual, sensual. But, I don't think anything's that explicit. But I think it just has that vibe of just like yearning in a way. And it feels very like a yearner song, which, I'm all for. Men, bring back yearning because...
Listen, that's what we're missing in today's music.
Yeah.
Bring back men yearning,
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely yearning in this, especially, you get in the chorus. I know people, as far as like the sexual, sensual, whatever people want to say, I know they point out the hug me from the front, back, left, right a lot. And then I know there's a part in the chorus of, I think, does Drake say, I'll do that thing for you. So, of course, people want to interpret that as what they want. But I know there was a few reasons for that. But like even looking at this, like towards the end, I see a lyric here that says, translated, yeah, wishing our souls to be together forever. So, I mean, I kind of understand why in those senses they can say this is an army song. Just talking about how we're going to be together forever, basically. Besties forever. BTS and army are one.
Yeah, besties, yeah, sure, whatever.
What other word should I use besides bestie?
No, that's it. I mean, just like in quotations.
But yes. And then even towards the end, too, of like being by each other's side, even on our worst days, and holding each other tight.
Yeah.
Even hell, I'm down. All I want is you. Does that make you feel sentimental?
Sure. No, it's just, I mean, I can see it being kind of I wouldn't even say like appreciation song, but yeah, I think it has some undertones of just, being very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Being very nostalgic about the relationship they have with their fans. I can see it. But of course, everybody just looks at it in a certain way. Like, we're not talking about being besties and getting coffee and shit. We're talking, y'all are talking about foot. No, I'm kidding. No, it's good. A good solid song. I think it has a decent enough song structure for sure. I love Namjoon's. Again, love when Namjoon gives us any vocals. It's like a weakness of mine. So love that he does that. Again, going back to that, hug me from the front, back, left, right. Love that part. So, I'm a sucker for Namjoon singing a little sing-songy. Interested to know how they're going to incorporate that.
In what, the concert?
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a song that kind of, again, it builds back up. So I feel like it's going to, I don't know, be maybe in the middle section. I don't know. I still have to make a Shay's projected set list, which is probably going to be all fucking wrong. It's fine.
I'm not going to confirm or deny until after your concert for your wishes.
I do appreciate it.
Of course. But yes, that's pretty much self-explanatory when it comes to Please. And then we are on to our final song. Oh, God, thank God. Not because listen, it's way past my bedtime, okay?
I don't think you ever stay up this late, girl.
Rarely.
Very rarely.
I'm an old lady, okay?
And the youngest of us all, and yet acts like she's like 90 years old.
I like my sleep, and that's also because it's hard for me to actually sleep. I don't sleep well during the night, so like when I can get sleep. Anyway, we have Into the Sun, which I'm gonna be honest, I liked Into the Sun when I first heard it. I can tell, like, I understand being thrown off by like the auto-tune, especially, but like after the second listen, I was like, you know what? I get this. I understand why Tay fought for this song so hard. So the producer credits are P-Dog, Diplo, Tyler Johnson, Nitty, and Ghost Loop. Lyrics by P-Dog, Thomas Wesley Pence, V. Jimin. I think I pronounced this earlier. Is it Tezo or
Tizo Touchdown.
Tizo Touchdown. Keon D. Cambaran. Richard Cook, Mears the Fourth, Tyler Johnson, Ghost Loop, RM, Suga, and J Hope. And again, they really pointed out how Tang fought for the song. He must have, understood the assignment first listen. Yoongi was going to this whole story, and I am so sorry. He really lost me because he started talking about technical terms when it came to music and like the soundboards and like different programmings. I'm like, I know Yoongi, this is supposed to be funny. I don't understand anything you're talking about.
Oh, no.
I'm sure it was hilarious because it went along with, almost losing the file. So I know how that feels.
Relatable, right? Right. It's not so funny now, huh? Right.
No,
should have
it's
paid
not.
attention. Maybe you'd learn something about. No. I knew right off rip listening to this, people were not gonna like it. Like as soon as I heard the first like lyric, the choice in using that overdone kind of vocalish, fryish auto-tune is not very pleasant on first listen. It reminded, I talked a lot about when we got the album, listening to it in my note, I said it reminded me, and I hate to bring this person up because they are super, super problematic, but it's true, very much Kanye influenced, in my opinion. Kind of has like the album, it has the song Ghost Town on it. And Ghost Town to me, it has a 070 Shake on it. And I just feel like it really embodies like that. And it gives a little bit of Post Malone too prior to the country shit. So, and again, they've all kind of worked together on projects. So I can definitely see where the influences come from. I can see why somebody like Tay would fight for this song. Because he's a little weirdo. And he tends to drift towards the type of music, I think, that isn't popular, but it is timeless. And I think this is going to want to be one of those songs over time people are going to grow to love. I loved it on first listen. It was obviously, again, it's a choice, and much like in the same vein as I think a lot the reason why people didn't like, but people were a little apprehensive on Jimin's first project, Face, with the stylistic choice of the auto-tune. Like, I don't know why people get so like worked up about auto-tune. Like it's in every song. Sometimes it's not used as like a stylistic choice, but it is in every song. Like auto-tune is present in every song that's ever been put out in the mixing and mastering. So when people are like, well, I don't like because of auto-tune. Well, you don't like any music because everything has auto-tune in it of some sort.
Literally everything.
Literally. And so I get what people mean, but that's not what you said. And so for me, it's just like, I'm cool with it because, again, I grew up in the era of like the T-Pains, who was primarily, then again, autotune doesn't mean like what people like obviously don't. Some people know, but some people don't. You still have to be able to sing. You can't just like autotune doesn't fix that. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have to be able to carry a note. Otherwise you're going to be sounding crazy. And again, I knew off rip people weren't going to like it because it's so piercing. It's in that range that really kind of like, it's like, again, nails on a chalkboard kind of. But I think it's going to be one of those projects. It's going to be one of the ones that's a slow favorite for people, especially when they get it, because I hope they perform it. I'm pretty sure they do. And if that's the closer, man, it's going to be a very emotional, I think, because again, the sentiment around this album and the way people acted about it when it comes to just being so opinionated about it, it's like you think this would be their last project, but the song Into the Sun feels like we're literally like moving into the next phase. So I appreciate that. Like, again, overall, like, I think that each song that was chosen, I would absolutely one day love for them. I'm sure we'll hear them eventually in other projects. Love to know what was left behind and, what songs they fought over and, whatever the case may be. Just to see, because, like, I'll let you say your thoughts about the song before I move on to that.
Me?
Yeah, you're the only other person here, so.
Anyway, we talked about this already. It's getting to that time.
We almost done, girl. right around the corner.
I don't have much to really say about it. Because I understand why this is the end, and it's good that Please went before it as well. It's kind of along the same like sentiment of just like the togetherness, always being together, but also being there for each other, especially times of like darkness, which I think they reference in the song as well. Following each other into the sun, yeah, especially during like hardships and all that. I was looking at the lyrics while I'm on Dulcet's website. It's interesting because I didn't realize there's a part, kind of random, kind of not, but it's the time between dogs and wolves. And I guess the time between dogs and wolves refers to dusk from the French idiom. I cannot pronounce that, so I'm not even going to. At dusk, you cannot tell if the creatures running towards you from afar is a friendly dog or a hostile wolf. So that's very interesting. Well, because like I guess it goes into the whole verse. I don't remember whose verse this is, but it's the time between dogs and wolves, the broken compasses of animals, our escape in front of the chaoses and regrets, a human breathing and resisting, want to go home to where you are. So I guess again, that just goes into what I was saying of being there for each other, even through the tough times. And you can kind of see this reflected, I guess, too, of like military with the way they feel about fans. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anyone be so worried about what their fans think first before themselves like I do with BTS. And I feel like this also reflects that of like following each other into the sun, like waiting for them to come back and all that. So I'm not sure if any of this is making sense.
Yeah, I think, if you look at it from a literal standpoint, like I think what you were trying to get around to is like following someone into like a danger, like not danger space, but like, I mean, the sun is literally kill you. Like it could literally hurt you. So it's just like following someone into like the unknown, like into the hardships, hopefully coming out unscathed. Like, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of different like poetical things that we've missed probably just, and also just being tired. But
yeah, I mean, too, because I'm looking at the chorus that I can hear like Jin singing too, which another thing I like the song. This is also one of the other songs aside from like Animals, I think really highlights his vocals that I enjoy. But like, I guess, which we talked about a little bit when we were talking about They Don't Know About Us, the double-edged sword of like the fandom and artist relationship where it says like you call and, I run dark days and find the sun and not caring how far. It's kind of like BTS reassuring no matter what, they'll be here for the fans. But like at the same time, I guess what you were trying to say about the running into danger together, like I'm not sure,
yeah, running into something that essentially could harm you.
Yeah.
It could be a source of power. It could be a source of like ultimate good, or it could be a source of just like demise. I mean, the sun is both something that helps the life process, but it also could be, again, deadly. So, yeah, I think there's a couple of things that could be taken from that. And then there's also like this like more literal sense of like following. Like, have you ever just like stared at the sun just on accident? Like, and you could become like temporarily blinded. There could be kind of like a metaphor there too of like blindly following someone no matter what. So I think there's probably a lot to unpack with that. And it's a shame that people wrote it off so early just because of a choice of how they wanted it to present it. I think you see, and through all of these songs, just to kind of bring it all together, you definitely see the influences that they're influenced by. You also see the experiences that they went through making their solo projects. I see a lot of Jin in this. I see a lot of Tay in this, a lot of Jimin, obviously a lot of rap line. JK, I think, is the one I feel like, not that I don't see the most in, because again, he obviously has credits all throughout this, but I think much like we talked about how pop is like a universal genre, JK's project was very like universal kind of genre focused album, which I don't necessarily think that this album is heavy focused on pop as it was anything else. So I feel like JK definitely adds to it, and I don't want anybody to take that wrong. I definitely see JK in this. I see all of them in this and their experiences, but I think it obviously comes out different ways in different songs. So yeah, I think their solo work and the things that they've done in between the time has helped curate this sound that they have. And and again, I'm just slowly becoming one of my favorite albums from BTS as a whole. And I hope that they continue to explore sounds and vibes and continue to collaborate with people who, again, no matter what the backlash is of just like wanting to be more Western, like whatever, like like music is obviously better when it is shared, and it's better when you are able to have collaborative efforts with people who also understand your intentions and your goals and what you aspire to, and to have like names on this album that like I recognize and a lot of people also recognize just right off rip. It's like that's a dream again for some people. And even though BTS is the biggest thing, since sliced bread, I mean, they still have people they want to collaborate with and work with and, be involved with when it comes to their music. And I don't think we should just shun that away just because they didn't have the like upper hand when it comes to being on the productive side. I mean, they very much are all through these credits and they're very much present. So it's okay to let artists and collaborate with other artists and have that effort together. And also just some final thoughts. I think that this has a very strong possibility of winning a Grammy this year. This Grammy year. I don't want to put anything out there, but I would not be surprised if it did. And I won't be surprised if they put it up for nomination or consideration. Yeah, I think that it is a cohesive body of work. I think it is. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily like pushing any boundaries, but I think it is a really well done like return of BTS. I'm very proud of it. Like I'm very proud to have been able to get this project kind of as my first official comeback with the whole group. I'm glad this was it. I look forward to listening to all of this at the concert, and so I hope that they are proud of the work they put out. I hope they don't feel like missing anything or like it needed more. I hope they're satisfied because they should be satisfied. I think the people who were apprehensive in the beginning, we're seeing less of them now because it's not popular. It's not the thing to talk about. It's then had its wave, and now we're on to other things. I think anybody who really wants just to have that full experience of enjoying things just needs to stop listening to other people, which is ironic because we literally just sat here and talked for almost 4 hours about an album. But
I'm probably definitely going to break this up into 4 parts, just to be honest. So.
Jesus Lord, would be me, right? No, I think you should absolutely form your own opinion. You should, and if that opinion is negative, it's negative. Like, yeah, I mean, again, we've talked a lot about criticism, and again, I don't think anything's above criticism, but in general, I'm very excited to see what BTS does in the future. I'm very glad that this is the album they decided to put out, even beyond all the controversy and all the shit that happened and came with it. It came at such a heavy cost, I think, but I do think that this album works very well, and it does feel very BTS. It feels very authentic to who they are now. It nods to things from the past. It nods to the things that they did in their solo work. I don't know how much more BTS you want to get than that. You know what I mean? Like, it is a combination of all of those things. It's not going to be the Love Yourself era. It's not going to be Wings. It's not going to be Danger. It's not Danger's cousin. It's just, it is audit on its own. And I think it's enough. Like, I genuinely do think that that's good enough. Or if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. You know, that's how I feel about it. I think I'm pretty satisfied with most of the collaborations and most of the producer work on it. Yeah. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing this fully fledged out on the big old Allegiant Stadium stage.
Yes. I hope they're proud of it either. It does seem like they're proud of it. And it's just also goes into, I think this album was really needed. Because I mean, even I was like that too, of just curious and wondering what they were going to do. And then like for the whole tour, I don't know. I guess I also wasn't expecting them, which I don't know why. Like, I knew they were going to put something out when they came out, but I guess in my mind, and maybe I was still focusing on like the K-pop side of it. I just thought they were maybe gonna do like a mini album and then tour, and then I guess along what other people's were expecting to, yes, kind of do like an Eras tour of sorts. Even on this podcast, I know I've talked about songs I would like to hear them perform. So it's like, yes, I've also missed some, but like, am I going to be chastising them because they're not performing them anymore or performing them like they used to? No, because I'm growing along with BTS. So it's like, I'm very happy with this album too. I thank them a lot for also expanding my musicality just in general, because I was never really a person into music like that till I really got into them, and then that opened me up to like be more open to other artists as well, not just in K-pop, but I just mean musical artists in general. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this. Plus two, I think this was really needed to show people that they are moving forward as a group. We talk about we want them around for a long time. We joke about it. They joke about it. Like, if you truly want them to pass the K-pop expiration date, which they've already have, you're going to really need to let them grow as artists and show different sides of them. And this is what they're showing. This is not only BTS 2.0, but this is showing BTS getting older. Like, they're not in their 20s anymore. They're in their 30s. And sometimes when people say that, they kind of think you're like trying to be ageist and getting older, which I'm not, but it's also just being realistic of like, you know, you get older. That's just the human experience. Don't you want them to grow? You don't want them to be like some artists who are stuck rapping or singing about the things that they talked about in like high school and in their early 20s. Like we stated earlier, that gets boring. That's no growth with the artist. That's hindering them as well. So I'd rather grow with BTS and put them in a box to stay stagnant. I feel like I had more to say, but I can't tell if I'm losing my train of thought from tiredness or not. Did I have more to say?
All right, you could probably make that edit in post. If you think about it.
I'm not doing any of that unless it's the intro and outro. But anyway, yes, I'm just very happy to grow with BTS and to see not only with what happens with the Arirang tour, but then even beyond that. So I'm ready. I mean, also bring on the band that Yoongi keeps promising us when they're in their, 60s and 70s. I also learned through the Zane Lowe interview, because I know in the recording that it's never going to see the light of day. We talked about like instruments they can play. Apparently, Hobie has been getting into the drums. Apparently, he's been taking drum lessons.
Well, we got 2 drummers out there, possibly.
So yes, we got our drummer. We got our saxophonist. We got a guitarist. Jin can do the bass. I think he'd be a great bass player. I don't remember what Jimin can do. What did we say Jimin can do?
There's a little guitar.
So 2 guitarists.
I think, and then he also...
Yoongi and Jimin do guitar.
Yeah.
But Yoongi plays all sorts of instruments, so he can choose whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would give Tay or JK.
Tay can do the violin. JK can just sing.
That works.
There you go. We got it, guys. We got it.
But yes, so that will go ahead and end our review of the Arirang album, and we hope you guys enjoyed our in-depth struggling of trying to get this done, but we did it.
We did it.
We did it, Shay.
It only took 5 hours.
We're not going to talk about the song, but I also do just want to mention there's a deluxe version that's out on vinyl, and we ended up getting a hidden track, all produced by Suga, and it's called Come Over. So I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I hope they do release it on streaming, because it seems like they want it to be released on streaming. Not sure why it became a hidden track, but yeah, it's called Come Over. Didn't make the album, but they added it in the deluxe vinyl. I don't know why they didn't add it in the regular CD, because they've put hidden tracks in the regular CDs before.
I don't know. Probably a marketing scheme, to be very honest.
But yes, we're just ready to grow with BTS. I can't wait to see them in Tampa. I'm sure by the time this comes out, I would have already seen them in Tampa, or I might be in Tampa seeing them. So don't worry, we will come back and talk about our concert experiences. Shay, if you want to come back, you're more than welcome to, since you and Lala are seeing them in Vegas, if you want to talk about seeing them in Vegas and on your birthday. And you can tell us about the set list too, since you didn't see it beforehand. with Korea.
So yeah, we can definitely schedule that.
We can. So yes, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find us on social media at I Was Thinking Pod. You can email us at iwasthinkingpod@gmail.com. Any comments, I know on Spotify, you can comment on episodes directly. Let us know how you feel about the album review that we just did. We would appreciate any ratings, specifically the highest ones, to get us some push, get us some listens, share with other armies so we can all talk about and think about the album. And if there's things you wanted to talk about, hopefully we've highlighted them, or you can let us know some things we may have missed as well. But I have been your host, Simone, and that has been my lovely guest, Shay, who I thank tremendously staying up with me this late. I'm telling you guys, it's literally almost 1 a.m. That's how late we are recording right now.
And it's all for y'all.
Yes, it's all for you guys. So yes, I just thank her immensely for recording this with me. So you will hear her voice again. Don't worry, she'll be back. And yeah, that's been our show. So see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.